Thank you very much. I want to have the Lieutenant Governor of Illinois introduce me at every speech that I give now. I think that's my goal in life. I'm just thrilled to be here. I can't tell you how happy I am to have this opportunity. And I want to thank ISAC for giving me this chance to appear at this excellent conference. Now, many of you in the room don't know that I actually began my career in the mid-'80s, like the Lieutenant Governor. I began my career as a financial aid policy analyst in the Washington office of the College Board. In the mid-1980s, the best state student aid commission organization in the country was the Illinois Student Assistance Commission, and it still is. This conference is an excellent example of why that is. I think that this conference is bringing together a group of dedicated professionals who truly understand the importance of what a college education is all about, the value of post-secondary education, and I know all of you share my passion for extending the enormous benefits of college to millions more Americans. The leaders of this state have shown a real commitment to higher education that's strong, that's sustained, and in my view, I mean this sincerely, literally second to none. And certainly the Lieutenant Governor is personifies that commitment. And I want to begin this morning by really thanking you, Sheila, personally for being such a strong champion for college attainment and for working in partnership with us at Lumina Foundation in advancing this important work. It's truly difficult to overestimate the impact that we at Lumina believe is embedded in the public decision of this state to embrace what we call Goal 2025. If leaders of every state embrace this big goal with even half of the energy and the zeal shown by Lieutenant Governor Simon, which you just saw, and of course by Governor Quinn, well, let's just say that the nation would be very quickly to just see how thoroughly college indeed changes everything. So, of course, all of you are here today, I think, are well aware of higher education's transformative power. In fact, many of you have made it your life's work to channel that power. So, you don't need me to tell you how college changes individual lives, because you make these changes happen every single day. Still, what I'd like to do with you this morning is to spend just a little time offering some insights into how college changes things, not just individually, but on a much larger scale, on a societal level. I want to explore the vital connection between college success and overall economic and social success, and suggest some ways in which we can actually tighten that connection. Lumina Foundation is committed to that societal scale of change. Our mission is to enroll and graduate many more students from college, especially low-income students, first-generation students, students of color, and adult learners. And since I arrived at Lumina Foundation in 2008, the Lumina board and staff have committed themselves to achieving that ambitious college attainment target that I mentioned, Goal 2025. And of course, you already all know what that is, which is that by the year 2025, we want to see 60% of Americans hold high-quality college degrees, certificates, and other credentials. Clearly, we have a long way to go to get to that 60% goal. Today, only 38.3% of Americans between the ages of 25 and 64 have at least a two-year degree. Here in Illinois, as was just mentioned, the picture's a little bit brighter, with about 41% of the state's working-age residents holding at least an associate degree. Now, these attainment data, plus a wealth of other information about college completion throughout Illinois, is actually available in the handout that's in your packet that you have here this morning. All of that data has been excerpted from a national report that we produce every year called A Stronger Nation Through Higher Education. That report and what you see in your packets in terms of the Illinois data offers, I think, one clearly urgent message. Nationally, and in every state in this country, college attainment rates are well below the level that position us for success and for stability in the 21st century. At Lumina, we're working hard to make a robust case for Goal 2025. The 60% threshold is important because degrees, certificates, and other credentials matter. A massive amount of research, going back many years, shows that increasing attainment is critical for two key reasons: economic prosperity and social and cultural vitality. Now, the economic argument, I think, the case, is getting stronger and stronger all the time. As most people in higher education know, the Georgetown Center on Education and the Workforce estimates that 2/3 of all of the jobs being created require some form of post-secondary education. That's a huge increase since the mid-1970s, when less than 30% of all jobs required any education beyond high school. Now here in Illinois, 64% of jobs that will be created between now and 2018 will require post-secondary education. So to put it in different terms, in the next 6 years, Illinois will need to fill about 2 million vacancies, resulting from job creation, worker retirements, and other factors. And of those vacancies, then that 64%, more than 1.3 million jobs in the state, will require post-secondary credentials. But we also know that in the coming years and decades, more and more jobs, and increasingly better jobs, will go to those who are college educated. It's not so much that those low-skilled occupations are just disappearing. It's rather that almost all jobs are becoming higher-skilled jobs. Even in the quote-unquote declining industries, the need for college-educated workers is becoming acute as jobs and as work becomes more complex. So-called middle-skilled jobs in manufacturing or in mining, really in nearly any practical field you can think of, from X-ray technology to auto repair, now require some level of post-secondary education. What's more, all jobs increasingly demand the so-called soft skills that higher-level learning provides, the critical thinking and analytical skills that make workers more adaptable in an ever-changing workplace. The economic case is also bolstered by the fact that unemployment rates for those with college degrees are considerably lower than for those who lack post-secondary credentials. And yes, this is true even for recent college graduates. According to data from late 2011, national unemployment rates for 18 to 24-year-olds who are not enrolled in school are about 8.9% for bachelor's degree recipients, 11.9% for those holding associate degrees. For those in that same age group who only have a high school credential, the jobless rate is a whopping 23%. The wage differential for those with college degrees and certificates is also very significant. Lifetime earnings are actually continuing to rise for those with post-secondary credentials, even in these challenging economic times. And median salaries for 2012 graduates are up a healthy 4.5%, according to the National Association of Colleges and Employers, well above inflation and other key cost of living indicators. Starting salaries in some of the fastest growing industries like business, computer science, engineering, and health sciences range from the mid-40s to the high 50s. These are all strong indications that the labor market is actually hungry for these people with talent, and employers are willing to pay a premium for that talent. So for all of those economic reasons and many more that you're going to hear about at this conference today, it's clear that the nation's long-term economic success is related to a 21st century workforce, one with adaptable workers who possess high-level skills and relevant knowledge. And as all of you all know, those skills, that type of knowledge, can only be offered in well-designed and rigorous post-secondary education programs. Now, we also know that there are important, and I think sometimes often undervalued, social and cultural reasons for dramatically increasing educational attainment. Again, there's a wealth of data and evidence that shows better education yields more engaged citizens who are globally aware and competent and who participate more in our democratic processes, things like voting, volunteering, and other things. As just one example, and again, we're going to hear more about this in the conference later, In the 2008 elections, among adults between the ages of 25 and 44, so the younger adult population, there was a stunning 32 percentage point gap between the voting rates of four-year college graduates and high school graduates. This has enormous implications for our democracy. Similarly, we know that people with higher levels of post-secondary education attainment also demonstrate higher levels of moral and ethical decision-making, improved reasoning and judgment, and a greater appreciation for diverse views and perspectives have all been associated with college attainment. So in other words, getting to that 60% level will yield major public and private benefits, and they'll contribute both to individual success as well as to our collective well-being. So that's why this Goal 2025 really exists, to ensure that many more Americans enroll in and complete these post-secondary programs. And that means all types of Americans. This nation needs to enable millions more people, people of all ages, all backgrounds, all income levels, to enroll in and complete post-secondary programs. The college attainment gap exists in virtually every state and city, and it poses a serious threat to our collective future. What's more, the degree gap represents a persistent and pernicious equity gap for many of our fellow Americans. These gaps exist based on income and race and first-generation status and for adults. Again, just as an example, according to the 2010 census, the degree attainment rate among white working-age residents of Illinois is 47%. But among African Americans in this state, it's 28%. Among Latinos, it's only 18% in Illinois. As you know, I think perhaps better than anyone, these troubling disparities in educational attainment aren't new. They've endured for decades here in Illinois and across the nation. And we ignore them at our collective peril. Consider the nation's Latino population. The median age for Hispanics in this country is 27. For the rest of the country, it's 40. That means our nation's schools are already serving a disproportionately large number of Latino students. And since Latinos represent the fastest growing segment of the national population, these numbers are sure to increase. We have to do a better job of helping these students, again, all types of students, to enroll in and succeed in college. And as we tackle this task, we can't just fixate on the numbers. It's not just about pushing these growing numbers of students through college. Rather, the goal is to help these students earn high-quality degrees and credentials, those that have currency and relevance in the 21st century workplace. Truly, it's the learning that matters. In this economy, college-level learning is a precious commodity. In fact, I think it's critical to the prosperity of individual Americans, to the preservation of the middle class, and to the long-term success and stability of our nation as a whole. That fact, I think, is unassailable, even now, during this time period of heightened anxiety over college affordability and rising student debt and other important issues. As many of you are college access professionals, you know that you are dealing with the daily concerns and lives of students dealing with these affordability challenges. And the angst, of course, doesn't stop there. It's being expressed everywhere we look. We see it in the partisan wrangling in Congress over how to keep interest rates lower on student loans. We see it in terms of students on many campuses across our country now doing something we haven't seen for many years, which is actually protesting tuition hikes. We see it in major stories in the news media, from the New York Times to 60 Minutes. Today, as never before, rising college costs and ballooning student debt are the issues that are dominating the national discourse about college. As a result, there's an increasing number of so-called experts that are questioning the value of a college education and raising doubts about the quality of